I'm Nation's Restaurant News Managing Editor, Leigh Zinsmeister. I am here in Chicago. It is day 3 of the restaurant show, and I am starting to lose track. I'm joined today by the president and COO of Legal Seafoods. Thank goodness. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi. So I'm Matt King, President and COO of Legal Seafoods. Not sure if you know Legal Seafoods very well.
I know it a little bit, but why don't you give us a brief elevator pitch?
Yeah, so we're sort of, we're the New England iconic seafood restaurant. Started in 1950 with the first restaurant, actually early 1900s with a fish market in 1903, and then grew into a restaurant starting in 1950. We have Chicago opening will be our 27th restaurant around the U.S., so it's kind of our first expansion outside of the East Coast.
Yeah, and that's news, right? You're
expanding. We are. It's great to be growing, right? So we just opened last year in Virginia Beach. We opened another location in Boston. We opened about a month and a half ago another airport location at Logan Airport. And then we have opening in July our Chicago location.
Amazing. So that's opening soon. How is construction going? I've heard that you visited the location today. So
I was there this morning. I think I've got a little dust on my pants still.
Very authentic.
Very authentic. No, it's going great. I mean, the big thing, we were waiting for this grand staircase to be installed. So it was nice to see that actually on premise and welders working on the steel. So it's looking like we're on schedule.
Awesome. What's the hardest thing about moving into a new market?
I think when we open around Boston, people are so familiar with our brand, right? So people know what they're going to expect. So you go into a totally new market, we kind of have to put ourselves out there. People have to discover Legal Seafoods. I think what helps us a little bit with that is so many people go to Boston to go to college. So they maybe experienced it either with their parents or experienced it while they were in college. So, there's a little bit more understanding of the brand than you would think, even though it's a new market.
Interesting. So marketing. What about operationally? What's helping you out operationally?
I mean, I think operationally, we have our Smith & Wollensky restaurant in Chicago, so we have some experienced operators on the ground. It's actually right next to us. So we've got a little bit of a comfort level with the market, and we have people here that we can trust and we rely on already. And then, anything with operations, it's all about the people you put in place. So we already have our chef. We already have our general manager. Our general manager has worked with us for years at Smith & Wollensky. So we actually, have somebody who's been, I think he's 9 years with the company already. So, putting some experienced people in place.
Yeah. What's it like running and also opening a new, somewhat upscale casual dining chain in this economy where people are very focused on value and saving money right now? What has that experience been like on the other side of the coin?
Yeah, I think the value proposition has been huge, right?
Yeah.
People are really looking for, what am I getting for our money? And it's interesting kind of running, like you said, we're sort of the upscale casual. So we're sitting in that middle. So we're actually, I'm experiencing a little bit of the trade down effect of people that maybe went more upscale that are now trading down a little bit. But I think you talk about value, it's all about the total experience. So if we're going to be a little bit more than the truly casual restaurants, you have to get something for that. It's, so it's focused on quality of product and it's focusing on service. Everything's got to be just the full experience for people.
Yeah. Let's talk about the show. I know this is your first day on
I just got
the show
here.
Floor, which is awesome. What are you looking for? Who are you meeting with? What's the hot news for the show?
So, I think for me, it's sort of some new technology to help us with inventory control and management. We're just in the middle of transitioning our point of sale system, so I'm going to meet with those people. So we're kind of half transitioned and started that process. And then a lot surrounding training and how I can utilize some more technology to help us with training.
Yeah, so lots of tech stuff, which is interesting for a brand.
Yeah,
such a legacy as Legal Seafoods to be moving into some more technological.
Exactly. I mean, how you kind of create your difference operationally, I think, is a lot through your training. So how we can use technology to help us educate, help us get more, and especially as we're moving farther away from our home office, right? Getting, where are we going to house all these training materials, and how are we going to get people, our employees, to have that same knowledge base that they have being in Boston, where we can just go and see the fishermen, right? So we're in Chicago, he's in Boston. How do I bring him to the team?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and what are some tools that have already, I imagine if you're expanding, that means you've got a very solid base
Yes.
over on the East Coast. So what are some tools that are already in place there that have made you feel really confident and ready to move further west?
Yeah, so I mean, we've great people in place. We have a training department in place, but we're doing a lot of things manually, right? And we've employed some software. We're using a platform called Skooks for managing our,
Okay.
our training materials. I think there might be some things that are out there that are a little bit more user friendly for our actual employees to access them on their phones, to have things just, I think the environment for apps like that has grown a lot since that started. So now there's a lot more capabilities, something that kind of is more branded, looks a little bit slicker, gets our teams more excited about it.
It sounds like it's a lot about the people for you and your brand.
Definitely.
How's your labor picture looking?
It's been better, right? It's still hard, but it's been better than it was about 2-3 years ago. It was really hard. Now it's kind of evening out, and we're seeing, like for Chicago, we've seen huge amounts of interest, both from management positions and from wait staff and cooks looking to come work for us.
Great. All right. Anything else that you want me to know?
Oh yeah, we could talk about that.
Great.
Yeah, so I guess one of the things that'll help us, the innovation center. So we're building a brand new commissary. We do a lot of things centrally for the brand.
Okay.
So we're building a 30,000 square foot production facility, state-of-the-art technology. We're putting in, new kettles. We make all of our chowder centrally and ship it out to the restaurants. It's also the home for our e-commerce brand. Okay. So we do a lot of e-commerce for Legal Seafoods. We're launching a Smith & Wollensky e-commerce business as well. All of those things are produced, packaged, shipped out of there.
Where is it?
It's in Milford, Massachusetts.
Okay.
So that's one of the things that helps us as a brand with consistency and being unique, right? So
Yeah.
Everybody's got Caesar salad on their menu, but we don't buy, what Cisco has for a Caesar salad dressing. We make one, and we send it to all of our restaurants. We don't buy the chowder that's available somewhere. We make our own. It's the same recipe that's been served at every presidential inauguration since Reagan. And we just keep serving it. We keep making it and shipping it to the restaurants.
How does that work in terms of shipping? How do you make sure that the food is as fresh as it can possibly be when it lands in front of the consumer?
So I think, that's one of the interesting things. And somebody was asking me this about like fish in Chicago and how are you going to make sure your fish is as fresh? And if you think about it, most of the fish that people are serving in restaurants in Chicago is coming from either the East Coast or the West Coast anyway. So it's getting shipped. It's getting shipped to their local seafood vendor, who's kind of hedging bets on what their customers are going to order for tomorrow. So they're making sure they have inventory. Where we're working with direct importers or directly from fishermen, that's actually coming off of a boat. It's being packaged and it's being shipped directly to us. No middleman, nobody holding inventory in Chicago. So we're actually receiving that product at least a full 2 days before anybody else would.
Gotcha.
So that's sort of, the key to our freshness is all about our supply chain, right? And how quickly, the best fish is the freshest fish. So how quickly we can get it from the boat to the plate.
Gotcha. You mentioned an e-commerce business. Can you tell me a little bit about what that looks like?
Yeah, so Legal Seafoods, if you go to our website, you can shop online. You can have you can have fish delivered, you can have chowders delivered, you can have some prepared meals delivered. Soon to come with Smith & Wollensky, you can get our great famous dry-aged steaks delivered. You can get some cream spinach delivered. You can get all kind of those signature items.
Very nice. All right. Anything else?
I'm good.
Cool.
You good?
All right. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you for joining me today, David.
Thank you.